In Westworld, Teddy represented the infantilism of the poor Eternos, whose fitful endeavors as proxy for his real responsibilities never materialized. However, the boy Eternos is simultaneously the divine child who symbolizes the creative energy and the infinite potential in each individual. How can one unlock that potential, be able to take on life's heavy responsibilities despite its anxiety, and break the illusion of someday?
What if someday was right now?
I own this world, and I know every trick in it, except for one last thing. The same thing you were looking for when we first came here. Where is the center of the maze, Dolores?
The man in black had kept interrogating the hosts for the center of the maze, the representation of the true self. The hosts did not have an answer.
I told you. I don't know anything about no fucking maze.
After all, the true self is the hidden treasure in the unconscious, which is only accessible to their conscious mind through enormous suffering.
It means when you're suffering, that's when you're most real.
The man in black inflicted the suffering by shooting Lawrence's wife in front of the daughter.
Time for a spin, darling. It's beautifully done, really. But you see the cracks after a while. That's why I like the basic emotion. You know what that means?
Please.
The scene where the dead mother lied next to the child, gazing at the man in black as he faded into his new journey, is telling. The message is that only by forgetting the motherly paradise and undergoing the pain of relinquishing the first love of life, only through that faithless eros, could the divine child be awakened who then calls for the hero's journey.
Follow the blood arroyo to the place where the snake lays its eggs.
Therefore, to break the illusion of someday, we must act rather than merely think. We ought to muster the courage today and confront life's suffering instead of avoiding it. In real life, this could mean choosing to take on a meaningful job despite the fear of our own inadequacy, despite our own vulnerability to the unknown dangers ahead, and despite the secret wish to escape to the parental protection, be it family, government, or authorities.
Game's not worth playing if your opponent's programmed to lose.
At the beginning of the hero's journey, the first success requires being accepted by the collective. This can be achieved through various initiation rites, such as genuine community engagement and the military service. In fact, the man in black faced his own rite of initiation in Westworld.
Seems like you got a couple positions open.
He was able to join a new pact and took the challenge from the snake-tattooed woman to rescue Hector from the prison. The name Hector reminds us of the greatest warrior in the Trojan War, who symbolizes the masculine power and strength. By deploying his clever strategies, the man in black succeeded in freeing Hector from the prison, thus redeeming the masculine spirit of the pact. In return, he earned the prize from the women.
The head of the snake. What's his name?
He has many names. Most know him as Wyatt.
She therefore embodied the values of fighting against Wyatt, in which the man in black found the meaning to continue his journey of finding the center of the maze. Just like the eternal child must leave the maternal paradise, so must the hero part way with the collective to assert his authentic self, his inner truth. The hero stands between two worlds, the inner world that threatens to overwhelm him, and the outer world that wants to liquidate him for breaking the old laws. Only the hero can stand his ground against these collective forces, because he is the exemplar of individuality and possesses the light of consciousness. The tension between the individual hero and the collective old laws underpinned the story of the man in black's return to Lawrence's home. The town was hijacked by General Craddock, who had first appeared sitting in the Last Supper style. When he held the entire town under hostage in the church, he walked up to the altar and drank from the Holy Grail. Whether he self-identified as Jesus Christ or simply tried to usurp the power of the Most High. General Craddock appeared to have become the symbol of the old law to which the mass is subjugated. He who challenged the old law was destined to be met with hostility, and only the hero can destroy the old and extricate himself from the toils of his culture by a creative assault upon it. While the ordinary man tried to conceal the location of their weapons, hoping that someday they could subvert General Craddock, here lay their secret fear of being killed, of death. In contrast, the man in black, knowing that the hosts could now fatally kill him, was not afraid to die. He bravely chose to reveal the vulnerability and creatively offered a higher price.
You. Let's make a deal. The weapons are in an unmarked grave behind the church.
For a man who wants to deal, you ain't very proficient at it. You're supposed to set the terms before you give up what you got.
That's not what I'm offering. I know something you don't.
He offered the possibility of discovering meaning in General Craddock's meaningless existence and pointless violence. The man in black's heroic act came when he decided to kill the old law.
I believe he said this was yours.
On a deeper level, the man in black became the hero against the old tyrant using one weapon: truth.
It's only the living that they're inconstant. They waver, they don't know who they are or what they want. Death is always true. You haven't known a true thing in all your life.
Craddock was never true. His self-illusion as the Jesus figure was not true. His death and resurrection was not true. His perceived destiny of glory was not true.
You're right. We have toiled in God's service long enough. So I killed him. And if you want to get to glory, you won't be looking for his favor.
In contrast, the man in black's entire park experience has been searching for the truth.
In a sense, I was born here.
He desired the real and mortal dangers, did not repress his aggression, but stayed true to his authentic self and strive for wholeness.
I didn't pay all this money because I want it easy. I want you to fight.
In closing, he and Lawrence's daughter had a conversation.
They might not remember, but I know who you are, William. One good deed doesn't change that.
Who said anything about a good deed?
That is a brilliant summary of the hero's journey to find his personal truth, a truth which is, in Nietzsche's words, beyond good and evil. Everyone can be his own hero who doesn't fear the real world and hence doesn't procrastinate. He is able to take actions by realizing the necessity to break from the maternal paradise, assimilate the values from the collective, and ultimately assert himself as an individual emerged from the collective with courage and wisdom. In short, one must be willing to die symbolically in order to live. But isn't dying to be avoided at all costs? In the next episode, we will learn how that is not the case.